Previously on Lett Vlogs. On this particular trip, I went to Vancouver, Canada. I honestly didn't do a whole lot while I was there, but I did go to this place called the Capilano Suspension Bridge. I realized in my last vlog, you've been watching me go from place to place without any explanation whatsoever as to why I'm even there. Sometimes it's for fun, just like when we went to Prince's house in Minneapolis or when we went to New York for Valentine's Day. But other times it's for business. I just happen to be having fun doing it. They always say do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. There's a lot of truth to that because for the longest time, a lot of my family didn't really know what I did for a living. They just knew I was always traveling from place to place.
Wanted to make this because we get a lot of students that ask us what it's like to be a national speaker. So I figured this would be the best way for you to get an idea. So weekly, this is pretty much my regular practice is to head to the Atlanta airport because I'm from Atlanta. So that's me actually getting my parking ticket and finding the usual parking space. And that's how I remember where I parked. Because trust me, you'll totally forget by the time you get back after a week. Now I'm in the airport. I've been going through this for so long that I already know exactly where to walk to get to my gate and all that good stuff. They say Atlanta's one of the busiest airports, but for me, it's home, so. I walk straight up to my gate. I usually go through security. Depending upon how early it is, of course, I gotta grab something to eat, right? And that's my wife. My wife travels with me from time to time, so she usually likes to go on the little nice trips, whether it's California or Hawaii or something like that. That's a good thing about boarding a plane early is you get a chance to put your luggage up there before everyone else gets on. And so then I just kind of bring my laptop along or whatever it is to kill some time, because if we're going someplace like California, Hawaii, anything like that, you're going to kill some time. Otherwise, you could be bored, unless you just like sleeping on a plane. But it's always good to have her along because I have someone to talk to. In this case, we landed in Newark, New Jersey on this particular trip here. So that's where we went to. That's me trying to figure out a system for my roller bag. But we went to Newark, New Jersey. It's always good to go see the different airports as well. Because coming from the largest airport, you take certain things for granted. This is when we're boarding. This is clear. It's just like, I don't really, honestly, it tells you it's supposed to be a lot of benefits, but it really depends on the size of the airport where you're going to or coming from, because not all of them have it. So that just gives you a little bit of, save you a little bit of time going through security. And then the next thing here is, once we had landed in New Jersey, was to get a rental car. And New Jersey didn't have the best system. Sorry, you guys, if you're from New Jersey, but you really didn't. That was the most confusing airport that I've seen in terms of telling you where the rental car was. Normally, I'd have a nice little car for a rental car, but in this case, I had a little Toyota something. So that's perfectly fine, as long as it gets me to the location.
Yeah, I need a
So now I'm checking out.
I forgot about that crap. Yeah, I definitely need one. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Now I'm at the hotel. Typically it's evening, sometimes daytime, but I'm getting to the hotel. And that either means putting my stuff down so that I can get settled and eat for the evening, or sometimes going to the event. In this case, we're just checking into the hotel. And time to make the donuts.
I'm wondering. Let me go and get this ticket because I don't know if they want me to pay this ticket before I leave. Parking ticket.
Credit card.
You just gotta pay it every day. That's awkward. Most of the times hotels have it to where you just pay one time when you're done. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Most of the time you handle it once you leave.
Of course, once we get dressed, it's always a challenge to find a car. Well, I shouldn't say always a challenge. Depends on if I'm in some kind of parking deck. In this example here, I'm probably looking for where I place my car in this parking deck. So it's always good to have an alarm system or something that chirps and lets you know where your car is parked. But going from here off to the actual event.
Yes. But I still would think that
We're on 4. This is 4. This is 4. 3.
Weird layout of the parking deck here, but
So I'm heading to the event now. Sometimes I leave early. We don't start till 12, but many times what I like to do is I like to get there really early. So at least I know that I'm at the right location, because with traffic, with construction, all sorts of different things, you don't really know what you're going to run into. So I like to make sure I at least get to the event first, and then I'll go and see what eateries are in the neighborhood. So that's what I'm doing now. We don't start till 12, but I'm going to get there at 10:30 practically. So I'm very early. That'll give me some time to eat and run through the presentation before we get started.
and of course, before going to the event, sometimes it's early, and it's a good time to pick up some breakfast before we even get to doing the talk. It's just practicing rehearsing some of the numbers. I just always like to make sure I'm accurate for what particular market I'm going to be speaking in, especially if it's real estate or something that has to do with the local market there.
I bought my first house in March of 1998. It wasn't an investment property, just my own personal home. But then afterwards, I just started buying a lot of property. I accumulated over a couple $1 million worth of property. And one thing led to another. I was part of an investment group at the time. And so a lot of people had questions. How did I get into investing? You know, how did I do the marketing for that business? And I used to host these Q&A sessions, you know, question and answer sessions called Evening with an Expert. And so one thing led to another. Someone asked me, you know, you're a lot better than some of these presenters and seminar speakers. You should have a course. And so I created a course. I ended up marketing that course. Somewhere in the middle of me doing these seminars, someone videotaped me, and I didn't even know I was videotaped, but someone videotaped me. And it just so happened that this big marketing company out of Florida that hosted a lot of seminars. They were responsible for about 80% of the infomercials that you will see on television. They were responsible for about 80% of those. And so they were looking for national speakers, and they said, hey, if you're really good at selling, we'd like to speak to you. Well, I just so happened to get that videotape from the individual who had taped me. I mailed it off to them, and as they say, the rest was history. They had me speak all across the country, and eventually, like I said, the speaking world is kind of a small world. So once you're in it, people know each other, and then you'll end up going from real estate to other finance-related topics.
Testing 1, 2. Does that sound all right?
Too high. Whether you're interested in business or interested in real estate, you're going to get a lot out of today's event. So please join me in welcoming to the stage, Rob Lett.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for having me.
How you guys doing? Awesome. So my whole life, I realized later that my parents were in real estate. Typical kid fashion, I didn't pay any attention to what my parents were doing to make money until some material thing entered into our lives. That's how kids are. Bright and shiny, now you got mine. And I don't normally do this, but this particular session, since we were so close to home in New York, that's actually my wife in the back standing back there as well.
This isn't a complete day, and what I mean by complete day is obviously you see me getting on the plane in the daytime, and then by the time I'm landing in New Jersey and getting to the hotel, it's evening. So in that sense, it's a complete day. But what I'm talking about is it's not going to show you every single aspect of what we do, because some of the stuff, it involves customers and clients, and that stuff is kind of private. Does that make sense? And I'm obviously not playing the recording of the entire seminar that I did or my colleagues did or the nightlife of some of our staff, but you get the gist. I was in California recently. I got a cousin out there who lives in San Jose, and he came up to my hotel and he said, man, you are definitely cut from a different cloth, because I could never do sales. And I told him, I said, I'm just the opposite, because once I got a taste of sales, I didn't want to do anything else. I am one of those individuals, I'm always going to work more than the required hours. I'm always going to put in more than the typical person puts in. And because I know I'm going to do that, I hate the idea that I would work harder than everyone else and yet get the exact same thing. But sales is one of those industries that when you come up with an idea, you think, man, that would probably produce some sales. If you're right, you actually get compensated pretty immediately. And I like that aspect of it. On the next episode of Rob Lett Blogs. Well, you've seen me travel to a few other states. It would be silly if I didn't enjoy some of the sites that are right here at home in Atlanta.